warm up the body as we ease into a faster paced, strong flow. And then we'll finally end in a few restorative poses. So let's go ahead and begin in a comfortable seated position. Let the eyes close and elongate through the torso. Let the hands lightly rest on the knees with the palms facing up. And begin to inhale deeply through the nose. And then exhale deeply through the nose. Keep going. Deep inhale and deep exhale. If you'd like to set an intention or a dedication or some kind of purpose to your practice, go ahead and use a few breaths to do so. Blink the eyes open, and staying where you are, just turn your hands over so now the palms are touching the knees. We're going to flow through a few rounds of seated cat-cow. So on the inhale, arch the spine by pulling the chest forward and the shoulders back, slightly gazing up. And on the exhale, use the core to curl the spine, slightly leaning back and tucking the chin to the chest. On the next inhale, coming forward into your cow pose. And then exhale, curling into cat pose. Use the core between the transitions. Inhale again, reaching the chest forward, the shoulders back, arching the tailbone up. And then exhale, trying to make a C curve with the spine, tucking the chin towards the chest. And inhale into cow pose. Exhale into cat pose. One last round, inhaling into cow pose. And finally, exhaling one last time into cat pose. Make your way into a tabletop position, aligning shoulders above wrists and hips above knees. And then prop your right fingertips to the top right edge of your mat, and then your left toes to the left back edge of the mat. Engage the core, and then lift both limbs up at the same time into your bird dog pose. So reaching the right arm out in front of you, and the left leg extends behind you, flexing through the foot. Remember the breath. Deep inhale, and on the exhale, bring it down to your tabletop. Setting up for the other side, we'll take the left fingertips to the left edge of the mat and the right toes to the back right edge of the mat. And then slowly on the inhale, we'll start to lift, extending in opposite directions, finding stability. Deep inhale, reach. And on the exhale, use the core to bring you back down to tabletop. Walk the hands a few inches away from the top of the mat and start to make your way into your first downward dog. So we'll tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, and make any movements that you may need to open up through your downward dog. And then settle back into a still downward dog. Make sure the fingers are spread wide and the chest is reaching towards the thighs. Start to bend the knees so that they're almost in line with the ankles, and then send the chest closer to the quads. So it's like you're pushing the mat away. And then rock forward into your plank on the inhale. And then exhale, bend the knees, sending the body back again into that position. Inhale forward into plank. Exhale, bend the knees, send the chest closer towards the thighs. Inhale into plank pose with straight legs and shoulder and wrist alignment. Exhale, push back, bending the knees. Inhale, find your plank. Exhaling into your bent knee downward dog. One more time, inhale into plank, and this time we'll exhale downward dog. On the next inhale, lift your right leg to the sky for your three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip. Then square the hips back off and step the right foot forward between the hands. Lower the left knee down to the ground. Low lunge. Lift the arms up overhead. Try to tuck the tailbone so that the pelvis tilts backwards and creates more of a stretch in your left hip flexor. And then lower the fingertips to either side of the front leg, straighten through the front leg. The hips naturally shift back into a hamstring stretch. If the stretch is too intense, feel free to bring the fingertips to blocks. Keeping the fingertips where they are, on the next inhale, we'll shift forward again into low lunge. Tuck the back toes and rise up into your high lunge. Extend through the torso, reach up with the hands all the way to the sky. Make sure your front knee is in line with the ankle and try to straighten through the back leg a little bit more. On the next exhale, start to twist and open up to the right side. So the left hand reaches forward as the right hand reaches back. And maybe the gaze starts to look back as well. And then drop the right arm down, taking the hand to the outside of the left leg. The left arm reaches up and then back. So it's kind of like a reverse warrior inside of a twisted lunge. The next inhale brings us back through our twisted lunge and then through high lunge. And on the exhale, we plant the fingertips, step the back foot forward, forward fold. Slightly bend the knees in your forward fold and then grasp opposite elbows. Feel free to rock back and forth, side to side. And then release your arm grip, and on the next inhale, we'll rise all the way up, arms reaching up overhead, and exhale the palms to heart center. Inhale, we'll reach up again. Exhale, folding forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, we halfway lift, pressing palms into the shins, coming into a flat back, gazing forward. Exhale, fold back in, plant the palms, step or hop back into your plank position. Exhale, find your chaturanga, bending the elbows in towards the ribs, lowering the body down, and then on the inhale, upward dog, and exhale, downward dog. A beautiful first vinyasa. As we inhale, we'll lift the left leg this time into our three-legged dog, and then start to bend the knee, opening the hip, and then square the hips back off into three-legged dog. Step the left leg forward into low lunge. The arms reach up overhead. And again, slightly tuck the tailbone so that you get more of a stretch now in that right hip flexor. Remember, deep inhale through the nose. And on the exhale, we'll plant the fingertips on either side of the front leg, straightening through the leg. The hips shift back, coming into that hamstring stretch. And again, taking the fingertips to blocks if necessary. And the next inhale, we rock forward again into low lunge. Tuck the back toes, rise up, high lunge, fingertips reach towards the sky. The back leg is trying to straighten, and we can do that by trying to reach the back heel closer towards the ground. And on the next exhale, start to twist and open up to the left side this time. So the right arm reaches forward, the left arm reaches back, and maybe the gaze starts to make its way over that left shoulder. Make sure you're still maintaining that bend in the front knee. And on the exhale, we'll drop the left hand to the outside of the right leg, reach the right arm up towards the sky, and then arch back slightly. Use the core to bring you back into your twisted lunge, and then back through center into high lunge. Inhale, reach, and exhale, plant the palms on either side of the front foot, step the back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, we'll halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in, and this time grasp the ankles, and we'll use the breath to inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale to fold a little bit deeper. So if you need to bend your knees even more to do this, feel free to do so. And on the next inhale, we'll rise all the way up, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, the palms meet at heart center. Inhale, we'll reach up again and we'll grasp the left wrist with the right hand and start to side bend over to the right. Start to swivel the chest open towards the sky. And then use the core to bring you back through center. And we'll grasp the right wrist with the left hand this time and side bend over to the left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, start to swivel the chest open towards the sky, gazing up. Use the core once more to bring you back through center, reaching up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step or hop back, finding your vinyasa, so flowing through your chaturanga on the exhale. Inhaling, upward dog, and then finally exhaling into your downward dog. We'll hold here for 2 deep breaths. And on the next inhale, lift the right leg into your 3-legged dog. Step it through between the hands, swivel the back foot down to a 45-degree angle. Rise up, warrior 2. Make sure that the front knee isn't tracking past the ankle, and actively try to open the hips. On the next exhale, reverse your warrior, finding length in the side body. Inhale, briefly coming back into your warrior 2, and exhaling into your side angle, taking right elbow to right knee. Swivel the chest open towards the sky and maybe even start to gaze up. Inhale and briefly come back into your warrior 2 again. And then exhale, reverse your warrior. Use the breath, use the core to transition into your side angle again. And then exhaling, reversing your warrior. Inhaling, side angle again. And then exhale, find your warrior 2. Release the hands to the ground, swiveling the back foot forward, and then step forward into forward fold. Start to bend the knees and sink the hips deeply, reaching the arms up overhead, sitting into your chair pose. Take a deep inhale to lengthen through the spine, through the torso. And then on the exhale, bring the palms to heart center and start to twist over to the right side, hooking left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Reach your chest away from the ground. You want the center of the chest in line with your prayer hands. So find a gaze, find your steadiness, and then on the next breath, we're going to step back with the left leg into a twisted high lunge. Hold here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, untwist, lifting the arms up overhead, high lunge. Exhale, fold forward, planting the fingertips to the ground, stepping the front foot back into plank. Find your vinyasa. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, and exhale, downward dog. This time we lift the left leg into our 3-legged dog and then sweep it forward between the hands, rising up into our warrior 2 on the other side. We'll take a breath here. Deep inhale. And on the exhale, start to reverse your warrior, still keeping that bend in the front knee. And then rise up into your warrior 2 on the inhale. Exhale, side angle, left elbow to left knee. And then back into your warrior 2 again, and then reverse your warrior using your breath, using your core, and then transition into your side angle. And again, reversing your warrior, really lengthening through the side body, and then side angle. One last round, coming into your reverse warrior, and then transitioning into your side angle. The next inhale brings us back up into warrior 2, and the exhale will plant the palms on either side of the foot, step the back foot forward, forward fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips again into your chair pose, the arms lift up. And then deep inhale through the nose, lengthen, elongate through the torso. And on the exhale, the palms touch at heart center and we twist over to the left side this time, hooking right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Find your balance, find your gaze, and then start to step the right foot back into a twisted high lunge. Hold here. And then the deep inhale, we reach the arms up overhead, high lunge. Exhale, fold forward, planting the fingertips, stepping the front foot back, finding your plank, finding your vinyasa, chaturanga, upward dog, and exhale, downward dog. Let your focus return to your breath and notice how your body feels right now, how your mind feels right now, just observing. And then slowly start to walk your hands towards your feet, using your core to get there, until you find yourself in forward fold at the back of the mat. Take any variation of forward fold that you want, maybe interlacing opposite elbows, clasping the hands behind the back, whatever it takes to open up a little bit more. And on the next inhale, we'll slowly and gently rise all the way up to standing. Release the hands to touch at heart center. Get grounded through the left foot and start to lift the right foot off of the ground, bending the knee at a 90-degree angle. And just as you're beginning to feel stable, go ahead and extend the leg long, straightening through the knee, flexing through the right foot, and then start to cross the right leg over the left, coming into eagle pose. And we take opposite eagle arms, so we cross left over right. And find your gaze. Find your stillness, hold, breathe, and then slowly release, coming into warrior 3. So that right foot never touches the ground, it just shoots right back behind us. The arms can reach back or reach forward, whatever is more comfortable. And then keeping the right leg lifted, we'll slowly release the fingertips to the ground, walk them forward until we find our way into three-legged dog. Deep inhale, and on the exhale, we'll sweep the right leg forward between the hands, rise up, high lunge. Go ahead and interlace the hands behind the back. Start to open up through the chest by rolling the shoulders back and then down, and then pull the hands down and then away from the body. Gaze is up. And then we release the grip, reaching the arms up again. And on the exhale, plant the palms, step the back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms reach up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step or hop back, finding your vinyasa. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And finally, exhale, downward dog. Again, start to walk the hands to the back of the mat until you find yourself in forward fold. And then inhale, rise all the way up, reaching the arms up. Exhale the palms to heart center. This time we'll get grounded through the right foot and start to lift the left leg into that 90-degree angle. And then start to straighten the leg once you find your stability, and then cross it over the right, coming into eagle pose. And then we'll take opposite eagle arms, so we cross right on top of left. Try to reach your hands a little bit higher, maybe finding shoulder and elbow alignment. And on the next exhale, we'll untwist, not letting that left leg touch the ground. We're going to find warrior 3. So the left leg shoots behind us, flexing through the left foot, and the arms reach behind us or forward. Find stability. Breathe. And on the exhale, release the fingertips to the ground, keeping the left leg lifted. We walk the hands out into three-legged dog. And on the next breath, we'll sweep the left leg forward, plant it between the hands, rise up, high lunge, Go ahead and interlace the hands behind the back, pulling the hands down first and then away from the body, rolling the shoulders back. The chest lifts towards the sky and the gaze follows. And then the inhale brings us back up, arms reach up. Exhale, plant the fingertips, step the back foot forward, forward fold. We'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale to rise all the way up, arms reach up. Exhale the palms to heart center, letting the thumbs slightly touch the sternum, feeling the rise and the fall of the breath, your presentness. And then inhale, reach the arms back up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, finding your vinyasa, flowing through your chaturanga, your inhale to upward dog, and your exhale to downward dog. From here, lower your knees to the ground and find a wide-legged child's pose for just a moment. Let the forehead rest on the ground. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. And then walk the hands in towards the knees and rise up onto your shins. Go ahead and tuck the toes. We're going to make our way into camel pose. So you're on your knees. We're going to go ahead and place the palms on the lower back right around the sacrum and start to push the palms into the back, which will help pull the hips forward even more as we start to arch the chest back. And then if it feels comfortable, feel free to release the hands to the ankles. Take 3 full breaths here in your fullest expression. To come out of the pose, we'll take the hands back into the same position on the back and use the core to slowly bring ourselves back upright. The neck is the last to lift, and then we're just going to sit back onto our heels, keeping the toes tucked. And we have the chance for one more vinyasa if you want to take it. It's up to you. So go ahead and find your way into your plank position. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. And from here we'll make our way into a position on our back with the knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground, and just start to windshield wiper the knees back and forth. This is your practice, so really make it your own. If you want to linger on one side with your twist, feel free to do so. And then come back through center again. And go ahead and pull the right knee in towards the chest, hugging it in. Extend the left leg out long if that's available to you. And then we're going to take a yogi toe lock on the right side. So you're going to take your right first 2 fingers and hook them onto your right big toe. And then slowly start to extend the right heel up towards the sky, straightening the leg. If it's too much of a stretch anywhere in your back and your leg and your hip, then bend your left knee, bringing the left sole of the foot to the ground again. Take a deep inhale to extend. And on the exhale, use the core and let the right hand guide your right leg over to the right side, opening up the hip. Try to keep grounded through the left side. You may notice that it's coming up a little bit. And we'll use the core to bring the right foot back up to center. And then we're going to switch grips. So the left hand reaches for the outside, the blade of the right foot, and it's going to slowly start to twist over to the left side. Let the right arm reach out to the right and start to gaze over to the right if that feels okay. And then slowly come back through center again. Bend both knees again with soles of the feet to the ground and start to hug in the left knee, this time towards the chest. Extend the right leg out long. And then we're going to take that yogi toe lock on the left side and extend the left heel up towards the sky, straightening the leg. Inhale. And on the exhale, start to open up to the left side. Try to stay grounded through your right side if you notice the hip is slowly creeping up. And then use the core to bring you back through center. We'll switch the grip so the right hand reaches to the outside of the left foot, and we slowly use the core to twist us over to the right side. Hold here and breathe. And then release the grip, rolling back to center, and find your way into Shavasana, our final resting pose. Let the legs extend out long and let both arms rest by the sides. Let the eyes close and just let the body and the breath go on autopilot and just be for these last few moments. Gently starting to emerge from your Shavasana, bend the knees, roll over onto one side. And then push the ground away from you, sitting up into a seated position similar to the one we started in. Keeping the eyes closed. If you set an intention at the beginning of class, just think back now and observe where you are now without judgment. And then bring the hands to touch at heart center. Deep inhale through the nose. And one last deep exhale. Thank you so much for practicing with me.